after all. What am I going to do? Say I told you so? Although I did tell her to get that leg looked at, but by the time I noticed it, it was too late anyway. Do you need help with anything? Or, that is, can I help with anything? Emmy shakes her head. There's a bit of her usual grin back. Nah, I can manage fine by myself. Although, if you want to help me over to my bed, it would save me the trouble of rolling over there myself. I blush in spite of myself. Emmy giggles. You're such a prude, Hisao. I'm not a prude. I just wouldn't want to take advantage of a young woman such as yourself. It's ungentlemanly. Oh, I wheel Emmy's chair to her bed and easily scoop her and deposit her there. She quickly sorts herself out and sits on the side. She's actually a little heavier than she looks. It would be rude of me to observe this aloud, of course. Yeah, you get slapped. Man, you're kind of heavy. Oh! Smack! Emmy hits me with a pillow. Ass. Just saying is all. Must be all that running. At the mention of running, Emmy's grin falters slightly. Heh, well, I guess I won't have to worry about that for a bit, huh? Maybe I'll lose some weight. That's what you do to lose weight, right? Cease physical activity? I'm pretty sure that's what the nurse would recommend. Speaking of which, are you going to still be showing up in the mornings? I'd hate to run alone. Aw, shit. Emmy's sunny interjection, more of a disquieted muttering that anything too profane causes me to look over in shock. She's leaning forward, trying to cover the fact that she's crying by covering her eyes with her hands. Of course, the subdued sob makes it pretty obvious that she's crying. Hey, I'm sorry. Forget I said anything, okay? I place a hand gingerly around her and pull her close. No, I'm kind of running out of time. I can think of nothing else to say or do. How do you comfort someone who's just lost their legs again? Emmy wraps me in a hug and stays that way for a while. Sorry. I'm pretty bad at this whole comforting thing, I guess. Don't say that. I'm fine, really. Her voice is slightly muffled by my chest. I pat her head reassuringly. That's the spirit, right? You'll get through this fine. I know it. Besides, I'm here to help you, remember? Emmy lifts her head and stares at me with tear-stained eyes. Can you? Can you really? She's grinning lopsidedly, and something sparkles in her gaze. I can't tell if I'm being mocked or not. Of course. I mean, sure, you're nah, sure, you're a bit heavy, but... Of course, I mean, sure, you're a bit heavy, but... My witty comment is cut off by a sudden pressure of Emmy's lips on mine. I'm caught off guard and am rewarded by hitting my head on the wall. Wait, is it... But... Of course, I mean, sure, you're heavy, but... My witty comment is cut off by a sudden press of Emmy's lips on mine. I'm caught off guard and rewarded by hitting my head on the wall behind her bed. Ow! Emmy pulls back, trying to look concerned rather like she's about to laugh. Are you okay? Sorry. I rub my head ruefully and grin back at her. Caught me off guard there. Is that going to become a habit? Am I going to be lectured by Shizune and Misha more? At the mention of the duo, Emmy giggles. Honestly, those two. If I didn't know why, I'd be utterly confused as to why she hangs around with someone so bossy. Which one are we talking about? You know exactly which one, Hisao. Misha's hardly bossy. So what's the reason then? Huh? The reason why Misha hangs around Shizune. Emmy waves off the question with a smile. No idea. I see. Anyway, you seem to have forgotten the original question, don't you? Oh yeah, I guess I am. You wouldn't mind giving a guy a little warning, would you? Otherwise, I'm liable to wind up with a concussion. I emphasize the point by rubbing at the back of my head. Emmy giggles madly. You could wear a helmet. Some kids here do, you know. Or I could just take revenge. I grab a pillow from behind me and whack Emmy over the head. She topples off the bed and lands on the floor with a thump. Her arms promptly reappear on the bed. She manages to pull herself back up. She really has a surprising amount of strength in that little body. Her face is turned downwards, away from mine, making me think I might have accidentally hurt her. Emmy, you okay? You didn't hit your... A hand shoots up and grabs my collar. She pulls me in with a sharp tug, her face now barely an inch away from mine. Cheekfully. Emmy? She gives me a sharp headbutt, her forehead making quite a loud thud. I sit back, rub my now sore head as Emmy smirks victoriously. How's that for revenge? No fair. You can't take revenge for revenge. For someone missing most of her legs, Emmy's surprisingly agile. I swipe at her, but she definitely rolls out of the way and lands a hit with her pillow. Of course, the odds are against her. I can stand up, for starters. Oof. Oh, well. Guess I can, after all. Emmy seems to have effectively tripped me up and is now sitting primely astride me. Yeah, primely astride me as I lay on my back. I'm not even sure how she managed it. I win. Her eyes twinkle mischievously. I've been thoroughly defeated by a girl that's a fraction of my size at that. Then again, being defeated doesn't seem quite so bad. Emmy being positioned over my waist isn't something that I or my body can ignore easily. I open my lips to speak, but Emmy's head darts downwards before I can get so much as a word out. I give no resistance as she presses her mouth to mine. Not that I would want to. This is different somehow. She pulls back, nips at my lower lip, and reinitiates the embrace. Her tongue darts inside my mouth. Oh, Jesus. Exploring. I can feel a warmth spreading through my body as my heart begins to beat faster. My mind starts to go foggy, and I become vaguely aware of my hand traveling up Emmy's blouse. Emmy gasps as I reach a breast. Then there's a giggle, and then... Oh, I stare up at a grinning Emmy. Told you that makes my second win now. What? That doesn't count. You use feminine wiles. All fair in love and war, remember? Right? Ha, and you're even blushing. I don't know. I didn't know you were a blusher, Hisao. You were blushing too, you know. Probably because of your prudish ways. Even I've got to admit that this stupid thing to say to a woman who's currently straddling me and has been up for a few seconds ago playing tonsil hockey with me. Never heard that phrasing before, tonsil hockey. This is funny, to me, I guess. A prude, am I? Well then, let's see who blushes first, shall we? Oh god. I'm not sure whether the tone of her voice terrifies or arouses me, but that question is quickly made rather moot. Whoa, I have to censor. Oh, I still have to censor. Crap. In a motion practice ease, she peels her blouse off and tosses it carefully aside. Her bra and skirt quickly follow it onto the floor. Ha! I fight the urge to blush. It's a rather hard task. Escalation, is it? My own shirt follows suit, albeit with some difficulty thanks to my position. Emmy mock yawns. You have to try harder than that. My hands gently caress Emmy's bare skin, causing her to shiver. I don't know what I'm going to do to censor this. Either a bar, or... I don't even know how to do that. I'm going to have to look up how to do that. Or I'm just going to put an image over it. Whatever. It would seem that my hands are acting on their own again. If our position had left me, I'd probably have finished her undressing for her. I start to say something about how Emmy starting to blush, but both of us are very rapidly reaching the edge of something very barely holding us back. Conversation grinds to a halt, and I feel my arms losing energy. Neither of us, however, are prepared for this sudden new sensation. An indescribable heat surges through me, coming from both myself and it seems Emmy as well. If you want to see this picture, you can go Google. Or, like, videos and find a site that isn't YouTube, because they're not going to allow this shit. With one hand on my chest to steady herself, another holding mine to make sure that I can't have my way with her body again, she looks quite pleased with herself. And then, after a moment's hesitation, she moves. And she moves again, and again. As she moves, Emmy's breath hinges. My breathing is starting to come faster and more raggedy now. Emmy's body shivers and shudders against mine, and I can feel her starting to lose her balance. It must be harder for her to keep steady because she's missing her legs. I steady her as best as I can, cupping my hands around her backside. It's firm and taut. Makes sense considering how much she runs. The potential power in these muscles makes them flex, and as she responds to my touch. And I just made all the teenagers horny. God damn it. I knew this was coming, though. I didn't know this soon, though. What I failed to take into account is the fact that my attempt to study Emmy kind of slides her forward, and, well, it feels amazing. Her panties slide easily against my trousers, and it doesn't take us long to figure out a rhythm. But Emmy refuses to keep to it, going now fast, now slow, now pausing for what feels like an eternity. I'm not sure whether she's doing this to toy with me or if it's to make her feel better, but I'm well past caring. Well, the heat between us is growing more intense, and I can't hold back a gasp. The noise only seems to drive Emmy along. I begin to punctuate her movements with some of my own, which causes her modest breasts to bounce in time with my movements. Oh Lord. Her breath begins to come faster as we continue, my own breathing becoming equally quick. With her eyes closed, her lips purse expectantly, I just managed to lift myself up for a few moments, our mouths seeking one another, her chest sliding into mine as our sweat mingles. As I flop back down, my trousers are soaked with sweat. I would take them off if it didn't mean stopping what we're doing. And I didn't want to stop what we're doing, stop this growing pressure, this tickling in the back of my brain. Emmy is sliding faster and faster, panting heavily. Lord. Her voice seemingly unable to convey what she's feeling. Her body, on the other hand, is doing a fine job. Suddenly, she moves a little more erratically as my own breath hitches in my throat, ending in a final desperate thrust that sends me over the edge into a surging feeling I didn't know existed. Oh Lord. My mind blanks, I fill this with white noise, and I succumb to the feeling of climax. For a few seconds, everything else in the world falls away, except for this amazing feeling of Emmy and I together. And then it passes, the white noise cleaves, and I'm left staring up into the eyes of the girl atop me. For a few moments, neither of us speaks. The sound of our breathing fills the room, our chests heaving from the experience. She eventually reluctantly shifts off me and sits against the wall. I join her. So, did I blush? I didn't notice. Did I? Emmy shrugs, still feeling a little heavy. Still breathing a little heavily. Shit. Didn't notice either. Well, maybe we should. I need to use your window. Oh. My first instinct is to hide, but then I realize I'm still utterly exhausted and sitting next to topless Emmy, so there's no running away anyway. I rinse eye pass over Emmy and me and focus on the window. There was a cloud. A cloud? Rin nods. I was watching it from my window, but it didn't stay in my window. So I need to use your window. Emmy shifts a little, causing me to cough in order to cover up a giggle on my own. How long do you need the window for? We're, busy. This time I can't contain my laughter. Rin ignores both Emmy and me and peers out the window. Her shoulders slump and she looks disappointed. It changed into something else. Disappointing. Emmy is having trouble keeping a straight face. Sorry to hear that, Rin. Could we have a little privacy now, please? Rin shrugs as if to say, can you? And hooks her foot around the door, pulling it closed behind her. We both dissolve into raucous laughter, unable to deal with Rin's bizarrely timed visit any other way. After our laughter dies down, I look to Emmy. We're both a total mess. Well, Emmy raises an eyebrow. Well, again? Emmy grins and laughs, and then she nods. We should probably ditch the clothes this time. Oh. What? Thank you. I needed to stop recording. Oh. Alright, slightly more awkward to read than I had always envisioned when I watched Chill to Chaos, but I'm going to find a nice little censor image there, so don't worry. Hopefully, if I can't physically add a little black bar in or blur, then I'll find a picture on Google that will, because I don't want that scene to go to waste. Something breaks through my window shortly before the... Okay, yeah, so that'll be all for now. We'll just save on that. Yeah. So we recorded for quite a bit. I don't know how long. But thank you for watching.